handle the truth.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Market Report. It is Thursday, January 15th. We're halfway through the month. We're at the hump month. It's hump month. It's the 15th right now, guys. And we got a lot of news to go over. Right now, you guys can see here, we did come up and start to do a little pullback. Right now, the 4-hour candle making a doji. That means uncertainty. And that's how I'm feeling about where this price action is going to go right now. Uncertain. So good morning to everyone. Welcome. Looking at the crypto bubbles, we can see quite a bit of red here on the hourly right now. We are getting some market sell off a little bit, guys. It rejected right where we talked about yesterday. We're going to break that down for you. 97,000 ish range hitting the daily dynamic reactor and got its rejection. Where does that mean? What does that mean for price action today? We'll talk about that. We're also going to talk about the Clarity Act. Coinbase, as you saw on the thumbnail, on the dynamic thumbnail, Brian Armstrong, CEO of Coinbase, pulling away from the Clarity Act support. A lot of things changing on that. We'll talk about what those changes are too. And we'll talk about some oil prices falling, some Greenland updates on what's going on in Greenland, Nvidia and its stagnant price action, and then, of course, Trump threatening to use the Insurrection Act. And we talked about this last week, the Insurrection Act in Minnesota. So we got a lot to break down today, guys. But most importantly, we're going to talk about a lot of crypto. So get ready for this. You guys know what time it is. Class is in session. It's cruise time. So we got the cruise background up, guys. I'm about a week, but let me think here. 9 days away from going on a cruise. Can't wait. Looking forward to that. But I'm also looking forward to introducing you to my co-host, the OC guy, who actually works at Chart Prime, by the way, if you guys didn't know. Longtime Chart Prime buddy of mine, my co-host here today, of course, brought to you by Chart Prime. And this guy brought to you by Mexico. And in partnership with Spaghetti. So what's up, OC? How you doing today, man?
Not much. Enjoying a simple, normal coffee. I know, sad, not orange juice on it.
Not sad. Not sad. Very happy to see that. Very happy to see that you're not putting freaking orange juice in your coffee, you weirdo. What's up, man?
Not much. I mean, it's been a fantastic day. By the way, I did went in for a short on Bitcoin. I'm front running this. I mentioned I would have waited for the signal, but I need to tell you the truth. I taking the shit out of it. Right now, I'm at 2% profit, but the thing is moving back and forth. So throughout tonight, I was in profits, lost, profit, lost, profit, lost. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully, we get a little retracement all the way to 94. That will be a fantastic retracement, not because I'm in short, not at all. But that's because that's going to be the top of the next range that we just broke in. So we're going to be going for breakout, retest, continuation. There'll be a fantastic confirmation for an upcoming all-time high if we get it.
Oh, see, you what I heard was you JR'd your trade like a true DGen style. Shout out to JR. Let's go over and give a shout out to the chat. Let's see here. We got Melissa One Love in the house. What's up, lady? How you doing today? French Toaster's in here with us. JR's in here with us. Harp joining us also. Appreciate seeing you, Harp. Crypto Coin Mindset. Keith is in here. We got Blackie Chan in here dropping the pie bears. I appreciate you, brother. Let's see here. Scar G-Skull. I think I know who this is. They have a wrench. I hate the names. They got to fix the names, man. Google, you suck. Now we're demonetized because I said that out of the air. Who else we got in here with us today? We got Alexander G, our mod queen. She gave me a good morning this morning. She said, "Good morning, Army Piper Nosi. I hope you have a great stream." Thank you. It's a great stream anytime that you're here, Alexander G. So we appreciate you. French Toaster's in here with us right now. Toasting French. French toasting. I don't know. What are you doing, Toaster? What are you doing? Ninja Glock's in here with us right now. Also, Loco for Crypto. Appreciate you being here and joining us. Handy, go. Hey, good morning. What up? What's up with you, man? I'm doing good. Not a lot going on. Just watching these crazy markets. I think I got everybody in here. I think so. Oh, CJ Taylor, my brother, dropped in. He dropped in to say good morning. Oh, Tesla Pilot, man. What's up, Tesla Pilot? Good to see you in here. Dopey Bull dropping otters. And yeah, I was, man, let me tell you, OC, let me make sure I didn't miss anybody. Bobby Oz, appreciate you. I'm unknown, he said. You are unknown. I hate the new names. I the old names, I guess, because we don't get our tags, right? So sucks. Let me tell you, OC, this morning I woke up. I went about my normal routine, got my coffee ready, come here, sit, opened up all the systems, started looking at all of the data, what's going on pre-market and this and that, looking for the headlines. My morning felt so empty because I did not have Alex O Crypto to play in the background. He's traveling today. He's going to see his grandparents. So yeah, this morning without Alex O on a normal setup morning was miserable. So I'm gonna have to message him and go, my mornings aren't the same without you. I don't know how I can't operate my normal day to day without you here. But shout out to Alex O Crypto and the Otter Gangs. I appreciate anybody that came over here to hang out that normally hang out with him. It's good to have you guys here. OC, I'm going to go jump in right now and talk about the Bitcoin chart real fast before we get into the news. Have your Bitcoin chart ready because I'd like to hear what your trade setup is. But I want to talk about what's going on with Bitcoin right now. So we got this little pump up yesterday. We put it on the thumbnail. $97,000 was going to be broken. It got broken. Right now, though, we got this little rejection. We started a new VWAP on the chart. And we have come down. We're in a doji. We had two dojis. There was a doji here on this 4 hour, and now another doji here. Guys, it's looking like it just wants to go down. It really does. Volume is still coming up. Money is flattening out. Oscillator ribbons to the downside. But I want to show you on the chart. There's our red box that we've had on here with the daily dynamic reactor, the bull market support band, 52 week. Look at that. Just would you look at it? Would you look at it, OC? It just wants to reject off of that box. I think that it's possible that we still do push up to the 101.8 level. That would be the 52-week moving average, which we do historically go back to. But I will not be surprised at all if this doji turns into a downtrend and then we come back down to the 100 level. This has been our support now for several months, a couple of months at least, that we've been watching. We'll also talk about here, like, hey, Piper, if we lose these levels, what are we watching for downside? I got some 300 levels on here that we're going to talk about also, and we'll get into 200 moving averages that we'll talk about here. But I want to go ahead and jump over to your chart, OC. Tell us about your trade setup. Why'd you get into the trade? What's your mentality on it besides DGen YOLO, F it, let's do it? And what level are you looking for you take profit? What you got for us? And please unmute yourself. This guy.
Perfect. Let's that's got to be my thing now. All right, let me just nipshot this really quickly. And for some reason, it's not pasting it. Come on. What can I do? All right, maybe like this. Paste it, and it'll be hilarious if I. All right, so no pasting it. All right, whatever. The point is, that my entry it is at 97,047. And my market price it's right now at 696,090 or very close at it, so it's oscillating. Just so you know, let me compare. Let me do it by hand. Let me bring up my broker here, and it is right here. So short position, it is right there. Where this? Oh, come on. This is just fabulous. Everything as a spaghetti. All right, so this is my short position. Oh, I got it. Look at that. Yeah, definitely, most definitely. Here it is. I don't know what happened, man, but here it is. My entry, as you can see, 4.9%. I'm doing a 5x and 97,047. So 97, something around here. 97,047 is slightly above of what I mentioned, something around those lines. And I'm doing a 5x short, right? Why is that? If I mentioned, hey, you know what, we could be even go higher. That's why my stop loss, it is actually pretty big, just so you know, and that's a 5x. And I'm looking for a possible rejection. Let me clear everything up in here, or better yet, let me see if I can go into a cleaner chart, right? I think that will be really, really helpful. Here it is. Or better yet, here it is. So as you can see right here, we can draw a little box around this zone, including this top or right below that top in there. And I'm going to go for this box because this is where I get the most kind of like hits, including this range. We could argue that maybe all the way there, it doesn't really matter. What it really matters is those stops, right? So what I'm looking for is a breakout retest, right? So a low possibility, and we need to talk about that low possibility breakout retest, right? So going for that breakout, we already have a check mark, and then going for the retest, and then a possible continuation, which is going to be what I'm going to be aiming for. So right now, I try to catch that top based on that TP number 1 reached. And if you don't know where that comes from my Market Oracle Pro Plus. If you have just a Pro, you can also get those sticks. You just need to take a look at the max profit on trend and also the max profit on prophecy. Also, it will be a great idea to do the take profit one. So you get the max profit and you get the ticks for those areas. Not only that, and I purposely chose this chart because remember the area that we're looking for this trend line. Yesterday I mentioned this trend line in here has no place just yet being there because we have no pivot at all, right? At all. We have no pivot in here. So I was just speculating on that pivot, if you guys remember, on the daily. That's where I brought up this trend line. And why did I choose that pivot? First, because there's the dynamic reactor, right? And second, it's because we also have, or we were expecting that push up and then lower high on our oscillator right here. So we're about to have that flip of the ribbon. If we're lucky enough, we might have a lower high, like in here, a lower high. And that brings just a little retracement and then a further move to the upsides, right? Just a little bit of retracement and then a farther up to the upside. So based on the microstructure of what I'm seeing here, I'm trying to maximize my gains, right? When you understand the patterns that you see on your charts, that leads you to take more risky approach, and that's exactly what I did. This is a very risky. I don't have the proper breakout structure that I will be really looking for, but I'm trying to YOLO it based on my experience as a trader and seeing those patterns. So that's exactly what I got so far, and I'm looking for that possible short. That's why I'm going half of an entry, 5x, not really much, right? Remember I mentioned up to $150. I did a little bit more because I decided to go with half an entry, but it is what it is at this point, and I'm willing to take that 5x loss on the stop loss, not the liquidation setup.
I want to point out that that little check mark that he's up there talking about that's right above where he entered, one of his indicators that he used there, that's take profit mark there. Yep, right there. He basically used that was a bullish take profit target off of the buy indicator, and he used that as a, hey, you know what? This said, hey, this buy signal that fired a while ago has now said take profit here, and he used it as a contrarian indicator of a this might be it, right? So the algorithm of Chart Pride picked up that this is losing some of the algo factors that are making this bullish from this buy signal, and now you should probably take profit here. He used that as a contrarian signal to get into his short. So I just wanted to clarify that. It's pretty good use of a bullish indicator to get yourself into a profit short on the opposite direction. So. All right. What else we got here? What else we got? Let's get into the news, OC. Let's go get into the news. We'll talk about that. Bitcoin is pulling back right now, so your short's doing pretty good. But I want to go get in on the news side. Get into all these articles. We got a lot of stuff to unpack today. So over to the news board. All right, let's get into this. Looking at into the Cryptoverse metrics this morning, guys. The crypto market cap total right now coming in at $3.253 trillion. Trend on this coming in at 4.72 trillion. Currently, right now, we are sitting undervalued by 30.78%. How about the wristbands? A little move up on the wristband, sitting at 43.5%, but not outside of our 4.4 risk band area. So staying in that range there, just a little bit higher slightly. Looking at Bitcoin dominance with stablecoins, 59.11%. Without stablecoins, 65% again. We're back above the 65 flat mark, and getting dominance in there without the stablecoins, meaning a lot of people right now probably moving out of their alts, seeing this pullback on Bitcoin and going, all right, I think maybe the alts are going to fall hard. Let me move over into Bitcoin. It's a little cautionary tale right there on that indicator. Looking at the 24-hour liquidations, according to CoinGlass data, in the past 24 hours, 124,943 traders got liquidated. Total liquidations coming in at $355.79 million. Largest single liquidation order was on Hyperliquid. It was Pump for $11.14 million. And yesterday, on Chart Hackers, someone was asking about Pump. We did some TA on that. I don't recall, OC, if that was a long or a short that you looked at on Pump. Do you remember?
Yes, that was a long, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, well, it looks like hopefully it wasn't because longs are what got liquidated in the past 24 hours, according to this. So we'll see if that was one of our guys, I guess, next week. Looking at X here, X marks the spot. Fear and greed index right now. We're back in greed. Look at that. And just like that, everyone was greedy again. I played that video clip for you guys yesterday of from FX Evolution. He said it got up $4,000, and all over at Twitter, it is $1 million calls for Bitcoin. We also have this Brian Armstrong release here. This is about the Clarity Act, guys. And this is why we had that on the thumbnail today. This is actually a pretty big deal. After reviewing the Senate banking draft text over the last 48 hours, Coinbase, unfortunately, cannot support the bill as written. There are too many issues, including a de facto ban on tokenized equities. That's not good. There's your tokenized stocks right there, gone. A DeFi prohibitions giving the government unlimited access to your financial records and removing your right to privacy. Erosion of the CFTC's authority, stifling innovation and making it subservient to the SEC. Draft amendments that would kill rewards on stablecoins, allowing banks to ban their competition. This one I hate. This one just drives me crazy because I hate my bank. I hate banks in general. They suck. We appreciate all the hard work by the members of Senate to reach a bipartisan outcome, but this version would be materially worse than the current status quo. We'd rather have no bill than a bad bill. Hopefully, we can all get to a better draft. We'll keep fighting for all Americans and for economic freedom. Crypto needs to be treated on a level playing field with the rest of the financial services, so we can build this industry in a safe and trusted way in America. And so, Digital Asset News came in and said, the Clarity Act is not just about Brian Armstrong's position. It looks pretty bad overall. Will it pass? And again, yield ban on stablecoin rewards and yields, protects banks from competition, restricts crypto platforms from offering yields, acting as a handout to banks and reducing user earning opportunities. Hostile DeFi regulations, again, imposes liabilities on developers and threatens privacy. Could allow warrantless government access to financial records, treating code as an intermediary. De facto ban on tokenized. This would be the equivalent of somebody going, well, your door was unlocked on your house, so we used your door to enter your house. And because we didn't go through the house, we went through a door that was made to go into the house. That's essentially what they're saying here, to use this code as the intermediary to get into your financial data without a warrant. It's bullshit in my opinion.
Get out to the DoorDash girl.
I saw her. I saw the DoorDash girl. De facto ban on tokenized equities stifles future market innovation, prevents modernizing the U.S. market. So tokenization super cycles probably not going to happen under this bill unless something changes. And then expansion of the SEC authority. Yes, the SEC getting more powerful. I just want to recall you back to 2024 when I heard that we were going to become the crypto capital of the world. And here we are giving more power and authority back to the SEC and away from the CFTC. So, yeah, this act is widely seen as worse than the status quo and potentially poisoning the U.S. crypto industry's ability to compete globally by stifling innovation and harming users. Hopefully, this bill gets stopped. But as of that thumbnail depicted there, Coinbase is fighting. They're pulling total support away from this bill. Also, Kabisi letter put out President Trump. This happened 2 hours ago. If Minnesota's politicians don't stop the agitators and insurrectionists from attacking ICE, I will institute the Insurrection Act. So, if you guys don't know what the Insurrection Act is, it's basically where the federal government comes in and puts everything under federal law and starts arresting people. So, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. I actually had Chat GPT a while ago. Pull up and do. Let me see if I can find that here. This was pretty interesting thing that I had her do, and I said, "Hey, how do we get?" I told her first of all, I said, "I'm writing an idea for a book, and my idea for a book because she won't get into politics. She won't. She refuses to." And so I said, "I'm writing a book, and can you tell me how we get into how does this lead to this, and then this lead to civil war?" So type thing. Let me see if I can find it here. I might be able to do a search. Yeah, search chats here. Insurrection. And let's see if I can pull it up here. And I'll read what I wrote. It was pretty interesting. Oh man, maybe I don't have it anymore. Maybe I deleted it. Anyway, it talked about how we all go all the way to from the what Wall was saying about we will activate our National Guard, blah, 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 right? That is sedition, right? And then we get into the Insurrection Act because now the federal government has a piece. And yeah, the first thing on it was that they activate the National Guard of Minnesota under federal, and now they are no longer a state player; they're under federal control. Like it went back and forth. It was pretty interesting. Now, if I do find it, I'll look here while we're going over some other stuff. But if I do find it, I'll bring it up. But it was pretty interesting of how quickly something like that can happen. OC, you got something you want to speak on that? Go for it.
Oh, yeah, just really quickly. And my earbuds failed on me, so I'm gonna be muting and unmuting, just so you know, guys. So I might get trapped in there. But really quickly, this came to my attention, really like amazing me. And I think you may know the answer for this, but who was the most aggressive what is it? How could I put it? Foreign banner on the U.S. Like, which president was the most aggressive with foreign policies, like taking immigrants out of their country? Out of the U.S. country, if that makes sense.
Obama.
Yes.
Yeah, very, very much so. Absolutely. Oh, hey, I found it. The Inciting Act. This is the sedition framed as state sovereignty. Okay, this is so. ChatGPT gave me this scenario for my book, okay, based on my setup. And I said, I'm working on a story idea, lay out sedition and a call for states' National Guard to act against federal law enforcement and how that can lead to federal law enforcement activating the Insurrection Act and how it could lead to a full-blown martial law event. And I did this back when all the stuff was going on with Minnesota. But here's what she says. The Inciting Act, sedition framed as state sovereignty, narrative premise, a political actor, governor, legislator, or influential movement publicly asserts that the federal government has lost legitimacy in a specific state. We have that. The rhetoric is framed as constitutional resistance, not rebellion. Key elements. Public statements claim federal law enforcement is acted illegally or tyrannically. Check. The state asserts its National Guard is the true protector of its people. Tim Walz said that. Check. The language stops just short of declaring secession, but openly defies federal authority. Check. Why this matters. Sedition does not require open violence. It requires encouragement of resistance to lawful federal authority, undermining federal supremacy, and then mobilization of force or threat thereof against federal execution of law. The first escalation, state National Guard versus federal authority. We haven't gotten to that point yet, right? He hasn't actually activated the National Guard like he said he would. But that's the second step. Third step, federal legal trigger, conditions for the Insurrection Act. At this point, the federal government assesses whether conditions exist that justify extraordinary authority. Under U.S. constitutional logic, the Insurrection Act can be invoked when federal law cannot be executed by normal means, state authorities are unwilling or unable to protect constitutional rights, and insurrection or a rebellion obstructs federal authority. In your story, all three converge. Federal agents are blocked, state leadership endorses defiance, armed forces loyal to the state are involved. This is a legal green light for the Insurrection Act. So there you go, OC. She laid it out pretty well when I framed it as a book story. But yeah, this is where we are. And now we see on the news front exactly what I was saying there, that Trump is looking at doing the Insurrection Act in Minnesota. So do you have any thoughts on this before I move on with the news? I just thought it was pretty interesting. So
Yeah, just really quickly. I mean, let's just take away if it's bad or good or whatever, right? I do have some you wouldn't think what you wouldn't guess what I think about immigration. Despite I was an immigrant for a little bit, right?
Michigan,
Nonetheless, well,
hashtag
not
Michigan.
immigrant.
Hashtag
Yes,
Michigan
hashtag
OC.
Michigan. Yeah, but I didn't stay there, right? And that's because of my personal belief. Nonetheless, I think it's a fantastic way to exchange cultural setups as long as you, as a visitor, adopt the local rules, thinking, way of life, so on and so forth, right? But let's just move out of the way on that point, and let's actually go to some facts. I mentioned before that Obama was the most aggressive exporter, right, of
Mhm.
immigrants of the USA, and everybody loved them, right? And the point is that he was a good politician. And let me say this about Donald Trump. Donald Trump, it is not a good politician. That is a fact, right? He's not a politician. He's never been.
The least presidential president ever in history. But hey, he's got his ways. So
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I think at that point, that's what the U.S. needed for some point, and this is to equilibrate forces. But where he's playing with fire, and I've said this multiple times, and let's not talk about if it's right or wrong, right? But the ways that he's doing the stuff that he's doing is not the correct way, because when you're in a politics and representing everyone that voted for you, right, you need to defend those interests, right? Not only your personal interests, but also find a way to mix and match all of the different thinking. And I think that's where politics is at, right? The missing key right there. Because yes, he's achieved more security, right? At cost of what? I think the cost is fear and not really fixing the issue in root, right? And
yeah,
well, by also inflicting fear, you're inflicting or you're encouraging something that I really appreciate about American people, that they stand up for their rights. While here in Mexico, we need to be very, and this is my personal opinion, we are very condescending, especially with our government, which, guys, that is not a good way to go. All right. So just saying, and recently we have seen, Mexicans people in our own country, being more condescending recently, right? That is a fact. Although there's growing unhappiness. While in the States, we see more manifestations, more aggressive combat to the forces. And the difference between there and here is that here you can actually beat a cop. I'm not saying that you should or anything like that. And you could basically beat a cop. And if you're on the camera and there's a bunch of people, you go, quote unquote, free unless you are the opposition, right? But in the States, well, you get with some holes in your body. That's as much as I would say, which it's a very, very weighted part in here, which for once kind of like a combat police brutality, but at the same time creates a more not liberal. How do you call it when it's so liberal that it doesn't respect liberty? I don't know. There's a word for that when you go over it's more than freedom, right? When that freedom do not coexist with somebody else's freedom. So that creates a shock wave, just to call it, between power and community enforcement. So long story short, I think his ways are the way to be changed because it's hitting up the rim, right? It's hitting up the playing the chessboard. So yeah, that's my opinion so far.
Blackie Chance said, "Mama, make America Mexico again." All right, let's get back into the news. We went down a rabbit hole. OC, we could go down rabbit holes all day on politics in the world, but let's get back to this because Trump's not done being in the news. Supreme Court tariff ruling may be delayed until June. June, guys. We may not get any clarity from the Supreme Court, and I think it's because they are afraid of what this will mean if they go against it, what it could do to the economy and the market. I'm not sure, but they do not want to make this decision for some reason. Rumors suggest the Supreme Court decisions on tariffs may be delayed, potentially pushed all the way out to June. That delay could mean prolonged uncertainty for markets, trade policy, and inflation expectations. And then, that's it on the X marks the spot. Let's look at the stock market and see what's going on with this. Man, we're just not getting to the stocks. We got to roll. We got to roll, OC. Right now, guys, Dow Jones, S&P, NASDAQ, Russell 2K, all up under 1% total. 0.8 on the Russell 2K, NASDAQ 0.6% up, and that S&P and Dow Jones matched there at about 0.4 somethings. We are sitting below 17 on the VIX. How's gold looking today? Gold, silver, copper, platinum, palladium, all down. Silver sitting at $89.80. Gold still holding above 4,600. Everything else, not palladium looking the worst here, down 3.4%. How's oil doing? Oil pulled back down below 60 after getting a rally above 60, has now pulled back below 60 on the rollback of the tensions with Iran. That had a lot of people, puckering up and going, hey, oil's going to get squeezed here because we're going to have some tensions going on in that region. Now it's kind of calmed down. Oil prices dropping back down. Looking at the Bitcoin and the other cryptos here, on the daily, Bitcoin down about 0.8%, Ethereum down 0.8%. Big movers, XRP is down 3.3, Solana's down 3.1, Dogecoin down 5.1, Trondo, TRX is up 1.3%, Cardano's down 5.5. Even the privacy token taking a little dump today, down 2.4% on Monero. Chainlink is down 2.6, Stellar Lumens down 4.8. I'm sorry, Blackie Chan, I know you love that. Zcash is down 1.4%. Sui is down 2.9%. Avalanche down 5.3%. And Hyperliquid rounding out the top 20, down 6.2%. Seeing a pullback on crypto across the board today. Let's take a look here and see what happened this morning with initial jobless claims. This actually came in pretty decent. Was it 207,000? Actually, it was at 208,000. We got a revision down to 207,000. Expected that we would have 212 to 215,000 people that filed for unemployment this past week. Only came in at 198K. Still pretty up there for people filing for unemployment in 1 week, but it was not as high as what they expected. So seeing a little bit more strength in the labor market today, guys. How are we looking for a chance of a rate cut on this new info? Let's refresh it and check out the CME group here. Looking at a 95% chance of no rate cut in January. Matter of fact, I think it's 78.4% in March. There's nothing in February, obviously. 65.5% chance of no change in April. We don't see a chance of a rate cut, and that's 66% in June, which is after Jerome Powell comes out of his seat. Oil prices fall 3% after Trump says killing has stopped in Iran. We just talked about that. You're out of here. 5 key takeaways from the Crunch White House talk on Greenland's future. Basically, they're going to be moving some other troops in there, not U.S., Denmark, Germany. This working group did achieve something significant. The U.S., Denmark, and Greenland agreed to establish a high-level working group to try to determine a way forward for the self-governing Danish territory. Bridging that gap between the U.S. administration that still signals a desire to own Greenland, but now we got a little bit of change of who's going to actually be there. Just hours before the meeting, Trump said anything less than Greenland becoming part of the United States will be unacceptable. He later reiterated this stance: "We need Greenland for national security." If the U.S. president says he can only defend what he owns, well, what he is basically saying is that he cannot defend Europe. Words have meaning. under any circumstance because he doesn't own Europe, right? Also, that means that Article 5 of NATO, the support of the U.S. president for the European security, cannot be taken for granted anymore. So, some little shakeouts coming on the back of some of his words. But yeah, Germany, France, some other nations all moving troops over there right now into Greenland just to, I don't know, presence means control, whatever. Also, Nvidia guys, shares of the AI juggernaut are struggling. Whether it can break out of its funk is the question of the day. Right now, looking at the chart, it's up 2.18% today, but still down in that 187, 188 range that it's been stuck in for a while. Nvidia remains up about 38% over the past 12 months. It's trailed its AI peers and lost steam, though, in recent weeks. What's more, shares of the artificial intelligence giant have been largely sideways, even as it announced a slew of new products and partnerships. The stock is down 2.6% year to date, lagging the S&P 500. So, yeah, not getting much there. And then lastly here, Trump threatens to use the Insurrection Act. We talked about that in pretty good detail to end the protest in Minneapolis. So if he does this, I think what happens with Minnesota, do they activate their National Guard or whatever? I think that's going to be the big question of what happens if he does this. If he brings in and starts to do an Insurrection Act in Minnesota and then they activate their National Guard on the state level, not the federal level, that's going to determine how bad this thing goes or how sideways it gets really quick. OC, Bitcoin continuing to sell off here, bro. Um, we're seeing the dump. It's happening down to 95.5. And again, shout out to anybody who got in on those levels yesterday. I mean, we put it out pretty clear to you that this was going to be a very hard level. We barely even touched it and got pushed back off of it. OC, what are you seeing? We got about 8 minutes. So what are you seeing on your current thought on Bitcoin? And then let's get a couple of altcoins in there and let's talk about those. What do you got for us?
Absolutely. So really quick on Bitcoin, I don't have it here. Let me just pull it up really quickly. But we have just an alert right here on ADA. So let me go first to Bitcoin just to wrap up your question. And what I'm saying here is just a quick pullback. I know this is a little messy, but remember, we're looking for a support at 93, 94, somewhere around those areas. And this is because of this order block or this liquidity zone that we can see here. So far, all right, so far, this is nothing to worry about so far, all right? If we start losing or if we start hitting the 93 and we break it, right, to the downside, first of all, we're losing the previous low. And then if we close below this red line, we get acceptance back inside the range. If that happens, almost for sure, bear market, right? But if we bounce out of these areas to the upside, well, then most likely bullish continuation to 100K, 106, right? So we are in a delicate state. Also, that's why it drives me to do some decision moves. But that's basically what I got in there. Let's go really quickly to my alerts. We also have an alert on XRM and all of those in here. So very important. We are back at support. Remember yesterday I mentioned, hey, take some profits in here, remember? And because we could be having a come back down, and by that time you should already have your stop to entry. So right now I'm barely within that trade. Remember, we had still 25% in, and look at that, I'm not out there yet. Remember, there's some slippage, there's some stuff that happens that sometimes it doesn't take it. It did hit it, but it did not took it on my broker. So what we're looking for is that U-shaped pattern, or if we're looking for that flip of the ribbon at the zero line. If we see that, perfect. That's your long entry, right? But so far, we need to be realistic. And at this point, we are having something, depending on how you draw this, either a lower high. This is not good, all right? So we need to desperately have a higher low here. Let me give you another setup really quickly. We have this pivot right down here. We have this other pivot right up there. So we are not only in dynamic reactor, but on trend line. So keep your eyes peeled. If we start breaking through the trend line and close below the trend line, wait for the single or 2-3 candle rebound and a continuation to these support zones, right? And you can see that very clearly. And I know this is going to be a little bit of a mess because I'm turning on some heavy indicators in here, but bear with me. Let's go for those really quickly. There you go. Look at that right there. right at this zone, we have a so far soft order block. But as we come back down, most likely we're going to have this high order block migrate to the soft order block for a lower low and then a dead cat bounce in continuation. All right. So we're not there yet, but I'm trying to prevent you there. Why? Because my first approach, remember, it's a long, all right? It's a long right there where we are because we are very, very bullish. We are on pump and we are still in low consolidation. So far, this is still need to be written as a just pullback for a continuation upwards, all right? But the breaking point will be dynamic reactor getting lost. Really quickly on some other TIA, I know this is a big one of Messi, right? And remember, we talked about the VRVP with this huge bar of range, right? And that's what we want to trade within that huge bar. Let me go for it and turn this one off just so it's not bothering. Remember, right here, we were looking for the very first possible long. And at this point, I was about to tell you, look at my stop loss. I'm not going to be taking this long, all right? Instead of that, and this is just a little bit too late because it started moving right before I told you, I'm going to be looking for my next entry, which is going to be here, my initial entry. And that's why we have the next TIA USDT at 0.54. So let's just control C this and let's push it downwards. Most likely, remember, I'm not entering right there where we mentioned first because I just don't have flip of the ribbon. I'm going to be looking for that flip of the ribbon. If that flip of the ribbon plays out, most likely I'm going to be jumping in for a long and then a short. Or if I lost my zero line, I'm not going to be jumping in for a long, but I'm going to be looking and hunting for a little short, right? So I think we are at the top of the hour. So let me pass it over to you.
Yeah, I just real fast want to go over what I'm watching on the Bitcoin chart, guys. On the higher time frame. This is a weekly chart, and I said I would talk about some levels here. I've added the 200-week simple moving average and this 200-week exponential moving average on here. And right now, what I'm watching on this is if we get our rejection here, which is textbook area of rejection, that means that we've set a lower high and we look just like every other cycle. Some key levels on here, this 200 average here coming in at 68,182, and our other one down here at 57.5. So if we throw on our bottom indicators, where's our bottom indicators? Where you at? Bottom indicators. There we go. Market bottoms. If we pull this up and take a look on here, that would be around your 50% by the time that we would get down there. This 200 here would be coming into your 50% retracement level. That would be about $70,000 in that range. I think that's very possible. And I find it ironic that our other 200, again, this is the 200 SMA, and then the solid one is the EMA. Okay, so this is your EMA 200. This is your SMA, simple moving average, exponential moving average, coming in right in the golden pocket. So both of these are levels that I said we could retrace down to in this cycle, which would indicate that we don't have our typical sell-off that we have of 78.6%. And both of them lining up pretty good here with those two moving averages. So that's what I got today for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed today's show. Got a lot of information out of it. Sorry we went down a rabbit hole on insurrection, but it is what it is, guys. It all matters. And if we had something like that, I think you would have a whole lot more issues than what's the price on Bitcoin going on in America. So I appreciate you, OC. I know you got to run over to Chart Prime, so take care, man. Guys, don't forget to join OC tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live trade live with OC Guy. And if you got anything out of today's content, smash that like button, guys, and make sure you're subscribed, hit that notification bell. OC, appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you too, my friend.
Always. All right, guys, we'll catch you guys back here tomorrow morning, Friday tomorrow. We're going to be back here at same time, 10:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you guys the news, the charts, the markets, and everything you need to have knowledge, because knowledge is profit. Until next time, guys, trade safe, use some risk management, peace, love, profits. Ball out.
That's the rap. Chart stack data never lie. Piper led the mission, OC in the sky. Spaghetti on the screen, but the vision stay prime. Chart prime visual, signals on time. Alumni strong, we built from the grind. Lessons in the market that'll outlive time. Knowledge is profit, you know how we run. Till the next one, stay sharp, get it done.
You can't handle the truth. Emotional damage.
We'll see you at the next
Don't
one.
know what the fuck they're doing.
Morning market report out, 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 out.
Boom shakalaka.
We'll see you at the next one. Morning market report out. We'll see you at the next one. Morning market report. Ow.
Shout out to DDT.
That was awesome, dude.
Hey, it didn't break. What else you got?